Okay, so I made a video only yesterday on the idiocy of trolling in relation to people like Anita Sarkeesian. I received a number of comments in response to that about the inevitability of trolling in regard to people such as Anita Sarkeesian, comments that in the main I'm in agreement with. And that's what I'd like to talk about, hopefully in a slightly more measured way than I did yesterday. That's what I'd like to talk about today. What I should first do, let me link you an annotation and in the footnotes to a blog post that I wrote earlier on today, looking at the maths behind the inevitability of trolling with regard to Anita Sarkeesian's latest video and what that says about the gaming community. It's only a very short piece to read. I would ask you to read it. It very much pertains to what I'm going to be talking about here, because what I am going to be talking about here is giving my own experiences of this kind of trolling. Recent experiences have been told to shut the fuck up for one reason or another. So I made a video recently on Scottish independence, and although the majority of the commentary that I received on that video from both sides was positive, I did receive a number of comments that told me that on account of the fact that I am English, that I should just shut the fuck up and keep my nose out. I've also made a couple of videos recently on the subject of abortion, and again, although most of the commentary was positive from both sides, I was told that because of my privilege and status as a man, that I should just shut the fuck up and keep my nose out, that just leave this issue to women and only women to talk about. So this is the question then. When Anita Sarkeesian is told that as a woman she should just shut the fuck up and keep her nose out, or as a non-gamer, which she did admit in one game that she doesn't really like, in one video that she doesn't really like video games very much, and then gave some of the reasons why. As a non-gamer, she should just shut the fuck up and keep her nose out. The question is, why is she getting the abuse that she gets? Why does she get so much of it? What is the reasoning behind it? I think there are two hypotheses that we can consider with regard to this. The first hypothesis, hypothesis A, is because Anita Sarkeesian is a woman who is daring to speak her mind on the internet. There are some parts of the internet where this is regarded as the only hypothesis, and if you don't actually accept this hypothesis, then that is manifest evidence in and of itself that you are part of the problem. I want to suggest that there is an alternative hypothesis to this, and this hypothesis consists of two parts. Taking on board the comments that I have just received, put that alongside the fact, and this is the first of these two parts, that I'm happy if one of my videos gets about 3,000 views. Anita Sarkeesian's latest video has got well over 500,000 views. I think it is fair to say then that for every troll that makes this kind of comment on one of my videos, you would have every expectation of a good 200 trolls leaving the same kind of comments on Anita's videos. If we assume these kind of trolls' comments in how bad they are follow some kind of normal distribution, some kind of bell curve, and if we assume just to the small sample size of my video that the comments that I get are somewhere in the middle of that curve, is it not reasonable to assume that, you know, the amount of comments that Anita would expect getting so many more views, getting so many more comments, she is going to get a few that lay towards the extreme, they are extreme outliers, towards the extreme nasty end of that bell curve. That's the first point. This is the second point that goes with this hypothesis, which is that the videos that I make tend to be balanced, and I don't mean that as a criticism of the videos that Anita makes. Nobody is under any obligation to make videos that are balanced, and there are often very good reasons not to make videos that are balanced. Sometimes it detracts from the point that you are trying to make. But I try and go out of my way to show some balance in the videos that I make. So when I made a video on Scottish independence, for example, the very first thing that I said, that although as an Englishman, my position is that I very much value having the Scots as part of our union, and I wouldn't wish to see the Scottish people take the independence option and to leave the union with the rest of the United Kingdom. I fully accept their right to have a vote on independence, and I absolutely accept that it should be only their decision to make. And I disagreed with the English people who said, no, all of the United Kingdom should get to vote on this. I agreed with the Scottish people on that, but then I went on to have a few criticisms dealing with things such as the handling of the currency in the event of a yes vote. Notwithstanding that balance, I still got told to shut the fuck up and keep my English nose out. On the subject of abortion, I didn't make a video from a pro-life perspective. I am resolutely and adamantly pro-choice and made that absolutely crystal clear in the video. I uphold a woman's right to make whatever choice she desires, for whatever reason she desires, with regard to her decision to have an abortion. All that I said is, I think it is right and proper that we should be allowed to criticise somebody for their abortion decisions if we think that those decisions are immoral. The example I gave was a very, very severely handicapped fetus and deciding to carry on with the pregnancy and not have an abortion. Despite showing that balance, I was told to shut the fuck up, that it's none of my business to comment as a man. Imagine instead then for one moment that I had made a video from a pro-life perspective, maybe said that under no circumstances should a woman have any right to an abortion, that once she's pregnant, even if she was raped, that's it, it's tough shit, she's got to have the baby. And then imagine if that video had attracted 500,000 views. How many nasty comments do you think that that video would have attracted? Let me ask you a question. Do you think those nasty comments would be as a result of me daring to speak my mind as a man on the internet? Or do you think it would be because the opinions that I was giving were resolutely polarising opinions? I think you can probably gauge where I'm going with this. Anita Sarkeesian is making videos that are attracting a huge number of views on subjects that are in the main polarising and for many people contentious. In no way do I condone the aggressive, abusive trolling that she has received, but given the factors of the amount of videos that she's making and the nature of the material that is involved, I really don't find the amount of trolling that she seems to be getting to be any higher than one would expect. Thank you for watching this video, and bye for now. Just one last little thing, because if there's one thing I love to do, it's to state the fucking obvious. Okay? Which is, and this is in response to these people who say that, you know, women tend to get piled on just for making a criticism where a man wouldn't in certain parts of the internet, especially on YouTube. So let's state the fucking obvious, right? Which is that men tend to take criticism a little better generally when it comes from another man. And do you know that is in exactly the same way as women tend to take criticism a little bit better when it comes from other women. If you go to a part of the internet that is predominantly female, a forum that is predominantly female, or gynocentric in its approach or in its subject matter, you'll tend to find exactly the same thing happens if you make a criticism as a man. There are blogs on Free Thought blogs, for example, that have that kind of gynocentric nature. And if you make a criticism as a man, you will probably be accused of mansplaining. If you've made the same criticism and they realise that you're a woman, you probably won't be accused of splaining at all, let alone something as serious as mansplaining, which is effectively saying that for a man to explain something to a woman is generally a condescending thing to do. This is something that we are all guilty of, and it is often said that this corner of YouTube that is populated by atheists and skeptics is nothing if not a sausage fest. I offer to you that the part of YouTube that discusses issues pertaining to gaming is probably no less of a sausage fest. If you are surprised that a man doesn't have to tread quite so carefully when he wants to level a criticism in that kind of environment as a woman, then I think perhaps you need a few lessons in human nature. Bye for now.